Well, now some trips are a lot more difficult than others. This was a pretty difficult one. We had a few breakdowns. Watch the video and see all about it. Well, we're starting off on our trip. We got a good start. We've beat the Toronto traffic. It's nice driving weather and it's clear. I'm just saying how great the van was running when bam, it just shut off like I turned the key off. I knew right away that the fuel pump had gone bad because it had some problems. I thought the fuel pump was too loud, but we didn't replace it. This fellow was just a great helper. Stopped, picked us up. There's his helper that helps him honk the horn. Look at the accidents. See, we got ahead of these accidents, but now we have to go back and drive through them. Just look at the carnage. Wow, that tow truck hit the one car. Man, oh man. And the traffic was stop and go all the way home. Now we're pulling out the gas tank. We're going to change the fuel pump. Looking back, I wish we would have changed that when I changed the gas tank, but we didn't. And when it was too noisy, we should have changed it as well. There's the new fuel pump going in. There's the old one. Look how beat up it is. The casing is all cracked and everything. Now there's the gas tank. That's the new gas tank that I had put in. It's in great shape yet. Wow. Now we're going to run some BG cleaning stuff through the intake. Mixing the stuff up and putting it in the injector that sprays it through the intake. And I'm back on the road again. You know where we are. This is where we were broken down. The driver said we were lucky that we got that spot. Now here we're going. We're in the rain. We're going along. It's raining and lightning. Stopped at my buddy's place in New Brunswick. Van was running horrible. The check engine light's on. We're getting 10 miles to the gallon at best we could do. I'm waiting for a new pressure regulator here. And didn't I get the wrong one? Now my other friend in New Brunswick thought he could possibly fix the old regulator good enough to get me going. We gave it a valiant attempt, but couldn't do it. I had to head off for the ferry because we'd missed the ferry to Newfoundland. Here we're getting on the ferry to Newfoundland. You can see the rain is still on the windshield. We got hit with a lot of rain. And they're parking us up here. They really get me in close. I think I'm way too close, but I'm not. Okay, now I'm in Newfoundland. I'm in Foxtrap. We got the proper fuel regulator. I'm putting it in. That's the new one. That's the exact match. And that solved our problems. As soon as I put that in, the engine ran perfectly. Of course, I changed the oil right away because, well, the old regulator's out, the new regulator's in, and it sounds pretty good. No check engine lights either. Driving around Newfoundland, going to all my haunts. Here I am down on the waterfront. Now I caught wind of some icebergs about a 5-hour drive from where we were. So we hopped in the van and made it there. I got there just at sunset, just close to sunset. The icebergs were magnificent. The people in Seal Cove treated us wonderfully. We got a ride out right away in a boat, and I got some shots. Mary didn't go out with me on that boat. But the next day she went out and she shot some great video. I shot stills mostly. Mary shot mostly video. Here's some whales off in the distance here. Actually, they were pretty darn close to our boat. You know where I am here, Cape St. Mary's Bird Sanctuary. This is a magnet to me every time I get on the island. I just have to come and see my friends at the Bird Sanctuary. Chris Mooney is a great guy. Met him years and years ago. I shot slow motion video on these birds. Just fantastic. Really loved getting these shots. Again, this is I don't know if it's the #1. It's one of the best bird sanctuaries for gannets in North America, or possibly in the world. Here we are in Southeast Bight. Went for a little country party there. I got some of these shots right off the backyard. Now I'm in Elliston shooting slow motion on the Puffins. Man, I love these Puffins. It's another magnet to me. I like Signal Hill, I like the Battery, I like Cape St. Mary's, and I like Elliston. Far north, St. Anthony, well, that's pretty nice up there too. Maybe I'll get up there in the spring. That would be nice. The Puffins really put on a show. They're just amazing. Check out some of our other videos on Elliston, on Cape St. Mary's, driving the Cabot Trail. Wow. Love the Puffins coming in with Capelin. Now we got a little bit of weather. Now this is not heavy seas by any stretch of the imagination, but it's pretty nice. Usually you get this, it's overcast when you get something like this. That's been my experience over all the years. Just fantastic water. I love being beside the ocean. It's so restful listening to the water. Now we're filling up our water buckets. Mary just told me that it's like $4 for one of these jugs of water at Sobeys right now. In Elliston, I can fill it up out of this galvanized pail for free. Fresh well water right out of the ground. Look at this buddy here. Wow, near Bonavista. Now I'm at one of my other favorite places. This is Rose Blanche Lighthouse. You don't get clear there very much, but tonight's going to be clear. I'm setting up my 7 to 14 millimeter lens. There's the lighthouse. What I want to capture is the sunset and the galaxy. Wow, beautiful. Now we're in the Bay of Fundy at Johnson Mills. These birds are on their migration. They're headed to Venezuela. They come from the far north. They land here weighing 20 grams. They eat for 3 weeks. And when they reach 40 grams, they're ready to fly to Venezuela. There's a film crew there with an eagle. Wow, one of my spark plug wires burned out. Brian made a handy adapter. Delicious ice cream in New Brunswick, that's for sure. We found some hermit crabs there in sort of brackish water. My family came to visit us. The grandchildren were so delightful. Now I'm parked up in Quebec, and wow, we got hit with COVID. I got this tremendous red eye, which really set me back. Now here I'm working on the van. When I'm working on the van, I think about my trips, all the places I've been to, and all the places I might get to. That's right, Mike, put it in the right way around. Work much better that way. Now I'm changing out the computer. I'm going to pull the computer out and check it for bad capacitors. I heard horror stories in Newfoundland about these computers going bad and destroying the entire engine. So I'm pulling it out and I'm going to replace the caps in it. Had a bit of a chore getting it out. Now I'm reaching in, ready to pull it out. It's coming out. There's the computer right there. Okay, there it is. There's the computer safely out of the van. Didn't use too many tools. A couple of sockets, small 1/4-inch drive. Well, there's the computer on the bench. Got it out of the van without much trouble. Now we'll just open it up. And there's the bottom of the board. There's a special coating on this that we're going to have to replace. And now we look in, and these are the capacitors. This one, and this one that need to be replaced, but they're all looking just fine, really. I don't think there's any problem with these caps whatsoever, but we're going to change them out. Thing is, we have to make sure of where they go, so I'm going to make a little map The negative bar is all facing this way on each cap. So we see where the negative is on those. This is 47 microfarads. This is 10. And this is 47. 47s and 110. So we'll get those out and we'll test them and see how they look. They look like brand new in there. The very first thing I'm going to do is test the new components that I bought. Use my little transistor tester that tests all kinds of components. Click it on there. Hit test. And it powers up. V loss 0.7. Our capacitance is 917 nanofarads, so that's real close to 10. That's just fine. ESR is 3. That's fine. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. There's the negative bar right there. We have to watch the alignment of the negatives. I can test these right on the strip they're in because it's insulating. 49.4. Yeah, so it's testing a little better than that's just fine. Yeah, we'll just test the rest of them now. 49.9. Perfect. Yeah, those are great. So now we got to pull the ones out of our unit. That's going to be a little more trouble. There's the first cap removed. Now, let's get the solder sucker here. We'll heat that up. There you go. Nice clear see-through there. Look at there. Now we can put the new cap in there. But let's check the old one and see what it was. My guess is that it wasn't too bad. They look brand new, these. 45. Perfect. It was in perfect condition. But we'll be putting a new one in. Remember now, the negatives align this way. The short leg is the negative leg on these guys. So we'll just pop them through those through. We'll bend it a little like that. We'll solder it here. We'll clip the legs and then solder it from the top. I'm going to replace these one at a time just so I don't get confused at all. That looks pretty good now. We don't want any cold solders or any shorts, that's for sure. Perfect now. Let's check my soldering at 10 times magnification here. There we are, yeah. That one looks fine. This one I think wants a little bit more of a heat. Just a tiny bit. Okay, so now there's this one and this one to do, and that's it. So let's get at that. I'll do these two more off camera. I washed everywhere I worked on with alcohol, and then I added a little bit of clear insulating varnish. Let's hope that's going to take care of any problems we had. That should keep the board nice and safe. So we'll just let that dry for a while. Watch this.
I didn't want to cut it too short.
No.
So I'm going to weld that right on there, and then I'm going to weld some kind of a wall.
This is going to patch the muffler on the front way better than from
there on that line, that quarter-inch line.
Pretty solid. Solid welding with plate on the front, using argon shielding gas and MIG welder, I believe it is. Louis knows his stuff when it comes. Now I'm changing the sensors. I decided to change the engine coolant sensor and the intake air sensor and the temperature sensor for the dash, because everything was kind of erratic. The dash temperature gauge was always off a bit. Now look at this. This is the intake air sensor. It's a little bit greasy and the center plug is moved right over to the side. I think this is going to make a difference in the running. Look at that. That can't be working right. There's the new one ready to go in. The new one is all plastic. Now I got those two sensors in really easy. This one gave me a little bit of difficulty. That's the one that's for the dash. I put some cardboard around it in the socket and that held it in place. There, see, it didn't fall out of the socket and I get it in first try like this. I was trying to thread it in with my fingers and I just couldn't do it. Thanks. Well, thanks for visiting Bella's Vistas. Please like, subscribe, come on back again real soon. You never know where we're going to go next.